For example, only one match key can be used each time the software is executed, so we don't have a choice. If it's LC number, it's LC number. And then it'll be reconfigured with a new parameter. So it could be ISBN, it could be ISMN, ISSN. So it's that kind of activity that we'll look to do in the coming months to continue running that software using new match keys and also playing with what we call similarity levels. So when records are matched, they're compared for similarity, and that figure can be manipulated up or down so that you can say that based on an LC number match, the record only has to be 65% similar for it to be considered a match. What we plan to do is, after all the duplicates associated with the LC number have been removed, the program will be configured to identify duplicates based on other numbers, ISBNs is one of them, and on title keys. And again, with each of those reconfigurations, we do several passes over the database. I may have not made this clear, but it only identifies 2 duplicate pairs, 2 records. So if there are triplicates or quadruplicates on the database, you have to run it again to catch those as well. Authority data loading. We've completed the system development to enable authority data files to be received and managed by the batch record import service. Along with that, we've had to develop a lot of other tables, load tables, conversion files, and the match merge algorithms so that authority data can be matched and merged. What this effectively means is that we now have a way to add new authority records through to the AMBD and to update existing authority records if supplied with an AMBD control number or a local system number. Now, what we're planning to do is to initially trial this uploading of records with the National Library using the authorities out of their Voyager system. And if that testing is successful, it will be documented and we will plan to extend that service to other libraries who are interested. So at this stage, if you are thinking that you would like to share your authority data and upload it to us, by all means contact me, and as soon as we've finished looking at the ANL uploads, we will look at other sites. I might just stop there. Is there any questions? Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to run through multiple times?
Sorry, okay.
How long does it take to run through those multiple passes to kind of say this is clear for that particular?
Okay, that's a really good question. Because this is early days with that software, physically it takes actually only maybe about 6 or 7 hours to run an actual job. And that becomes faster the fewer duplicates you're identifying. And then again, it's down to available resources. So in the first few runs, I scheduled them a couple of weeks apart. But once we've actually got this process fairly well bedded in, we'll run it in an automated way. So you set up cron jobs that just pick up the configurations and run them. And we could do that as needed. We could do it on a quarterly basis if we thought that our algorithms to do the record uploading are preventing a lot of duplicates, or we could do it more frequently if we thought that there was a need to. I should just add here that the bulk of the duplicates we are picking up at this point are from a period in our history where the duplicate detection algorithms for the uploading of data were not as robust as they are now. So over time, once we've got rid of the bulk of the duplicates, we may find that we only need to run this job every quarter, but we'll see.
And for the authorities data testing with the National Library, has that started? Do you have a time frame for that whole process?
Who's here from the National Library? We are very close to, we've actually been testing with some files that they provided, but what we want to do is formally trial it as an automated process. So we've been manually fiddling with data that they provided. And the time frame to get that operational in production, it's a little bit difficult to predict. I'd be hoping for early next year, if all goes well with the trials of automated loading. We have a lot of work to do between now and next year in terms of system developments, which Rob's going to talk to you about. So resources and technical work going our way. We hope sometime before the middle of next year to have that, at least to have a decision, and then move to a more production base. Oh, I'm on the next slide. The other thing that we've been looking at is access to full text. We really want to expand coverage of our e-resource records in the AMBD and to provide links to those full text e-resources that are available out there. It's really part of building on the existing getting options for users by providing these links that are being generated as online full text content is emerging from mass digitisation projects such as the Google Book and the Open Content Alliance. These initiatives will generate millions of partially or fully digitised online full text over the coming years, and our goal is to incorporate those links to such content into our service to support the better fulfilment of our users. Users expect finding to be free and prefer online and immediate access to information resources, and are strongly discouraged by any barriers to getting these resources. We have begun this process by identifying digitisation projects both internationally and locally, and key sites for our consideration include Project Gutenberg, plus the Australian version. There is a Project Gutenberg Australia site, the Internet Archive and Open Library. There are other sites of interest to us in the form of local repositories containing digitised collections, for example, the Children's Literature Digital Project, ANU ePress, and, for example, digitised pamphlet collections at the State Library Victoria. What we have to do is assess the value, the feasibility, and the mechanisms in providing links to these sites. Issues such as the scope of their content, copyright restrictions, if any, the quality of the metadata, both for the purposes of loading to the MBD or for matching to existing records, restrictions on use of metadata, persistence of resource identifiers, and alternative mechanisms to embedding a link, for example, using an API to just take the user there. These are all currently under investigation. It is quite a complex area, and for those of you who were here earlier in the morning, the question I put about also harvesting the actual content, so if it is digitised content, the value in actually bringing it to us rather than just embedding the links. That's also something that we are seriously considering as part of this activity. I'll stop there again because I get to hand over to Rob, but are there any questions on that or anything else that we've raised so far?